So 10 frames are super fun, and it's kind of hard to know what that means if you haven't seen any math from kids in the last couple years. But 10 frames are this different way of organizing your numbers so that kids can quick and easy see groups, which is again that composing and decomposing. So I have my handy little 10 frames here, and in second grade especially, we don't just use one 10 frame, we use a couple of 10 frames. So I have my little 10 frames here, and then they're magnetic, so I gotta get the right side, that might help. But, okay, so I have my little 10 frames, and as you can see, because of their name, they're divided into 10 parts. So each of these are 10, so that would equal to 20. And then what we do with the kids is we usually have little dots, or they can draw dots in of the numbers. And if you're giving them a number like, hey, show me 13, then they would put in 13 here, and they're filling in their whole 10 frame, and they don't even have to count how many they're doing if they're filling in the whole 10 frame, because they know that there's 10 spaces there, so they know that they have a group of 10 here. And then if they're thinking, okay, 13 is a group of 10 and a group of 3, then they're able to put in the 3, and then they see the group of 10, the group of 3. As a teacher, you have to teach the different groups, which we'll do in our place value video, but what you're doing up here is you're showing that. The other thing is you can do an equation. So for example, if you have 10 plus 7, then you do 10, and then you have to fill in 7 more. And kids kind of get that that is 5 because it's half of 10, and then they can keep adding on from there. And then you see, okay, 10 and 7, so 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, or 10, 15, 16, 17, and they're able to count those. If you're looking at a subtraction problem or you're trying to decompose a number, then you can say, okay, we have 17, but I want to take away 5. Well, it's really easy for me to take away a quick group of 5 because I know that that's half of my 10 frame, and then I see, okay, this is 10, so 5, 10, 11, 12. So 17 take away 5 is 12. So it's kind of a nice and easy way to quickly do it. Kids have that visual that they can draw. So for example, you know, if they didn't have a really handy dandy cool magnetic 10 frame like Miss Turk, they could draw a 10 frame on there easily. It's kind of hard for them to draw this, so sometimes it's easier to give them that opportunity to have the materials already. But then once they see that, they know they can fill in. They've got that group of 10 there. If they add, you know, another 10 frame, they just bring this down. This is really sloppy, but they can just bring this down and add in, you know, if they're making 17, and you can see, you know, how they would draw it and how they would easily represent it on their paper. It becomes a little cumbersome when we're having them show their work, show their thinking, if they use the 10 frames like this, because kids can draw 10 frames forever. They'll take their time, they'll go back and erase, they'll try to make sure that all the boxes are even. So it's a very long process. This is a very good way to kind of start teaching the composing and decomposing of numbers, or, you know, addition and subtraction in a very basic form. But it really does become a little cumbersome when they're trying to write it all out in a small little part of the paper. So this is just one way that we can represent that number, represent the addition or subtraction equation, but it is one of those things that it's a quick one and it's an introductory one, and then we sort of start taking that away because we're just really trying to show the groups and give them that visual representation.